Welcome back to the Daily Doji. This is the Daily Doji number 69, Dogecoin technical analysis, a special type of analysis. And is Dogecoin going to zero is the question. Everyone wants to know, is it going down further? How much further is it going to go down? Is it going to go back up, and when? There's a lot of questions going on the internet about what Doge is about to do, and there's also a lot of hype. This video is just going to be analysis. There's not going to be any hype. In fact, the hype is, in my view, a distraction. Eddie, nice to see you. Eddie said, missed ya, coach. I didn't make any videos for a week, and I'm back, so I'm glad to see you again, and we'll keep doing them. So make sure to subscribe if you want to see the future, if you want to see into the future, and if you want to see my future videos. So here's the Dogecoin chart. I use TradingView for my chart. I'm not affiliated with them, but I recommend it more than a lot of the charts on a lot of the exchanges, because they only show you, if you look at the news, they only show you like a little fleck of what's been going on. They usually show you like the last day or the last week. And to me, that's not that useful. It's not that useful to anyone, really. And the news is not very useful in my opinion, but so what we need to do, what do we do then instead? Well, we start on the monthly. Start on the monthly chart, and then we can see the big picture. Also, in another window, I'm gonna sell a little bit. I think what is this? So the monthly chart doesn't look much of anything but a cluster of indicators, and I'm going to turn those off. So if you're new to the channel, I do this every time, start at the monthly chart, because this is the big picture of what's going on with Doge. It's only been not very long. The longer the chart, the more info we can get. If we want these big giant candles to stop influencing the chart, we can drag this off screen a little bit, and then this will expand automatically. Now you can shrink it down or expand it if you want on TradingView, or just double click and it'll automatically go out. So there was a big wave right there, but now you really can't see it because of this giant wave taking up all the room on the chart. So this is the big picture with Doge. We've got basically one wave going up, and this is wave 2 coming down. And I'm using Elliott Wave principle. I talk about this in some of my videos, and I also have a free beginner's class in the description. Also, even though I haven't been making videos for a week, I've been active in my secret alert group, which is a premium group. If you want in on that, reach out to me on Instagram at the Daily Doji. So if you look at the weekly chart, you get more info, because each of these candles is 1 week. This was 1 week, and then this one was 1 week, and then the next one was 1 week. And that's the basic how all of these time frames work up here. So we've got this big wave up and wave 2 coming down. Now, is wave 2 finished or not yet? Is it going to come down somewhere near this white line, which is the 200 EMA? Well, I think so, and I said this months ago, that it's going to do a 1, 2, 3 and then come back down. We're not going to be sure if that's happening until it crosses back under 16 cents. And there, I do have a count, an alternative count. My initial count was bearish, not because that's what I want, because I'm just reading the chart. So I'm not saying it's going to go down because I want it to go down or anything. People are getting mad about anyone who mentions it could possibly go down. But what I'm trying to do, and also I'm not a licensed financial advisor, and I'm not a licensed broker. What I am is a person that is fascinated with Elliott Waves and the type of technical analysis I've been doing. My background is in psychology and business, which is ideal in this situation because the way I teach these charts, how to read it, it's human psychology. So as we go to the daily and the shorter time frames, we start to see more of the subwaves, which are the waves inside the waves, start to appear. And the shorter time frame we go, the more detailed we can see the waves. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense in the comments. And one thing I see here is this 200 EMA. We're back down under it, which is not good. And I was saying for months that, well, first let me turn these back on. Okay, so this is what I have drawn on here. Don't let it confuse you. I'm going to delete most of it. I'm just going to explain it, but it is very cluttered and I don't like it like that. But just for explanation's sake, I have these waves since the beginning of the correction, and I am experiencing a little bit of lag, which is annoying me. I thought I got my internet problem solved. So we've got a big wave down, which had 3 subwaves. You see this white wave are the waves inside the wave. And then this wave came up, and it also had 3 subwaves, which I deleted at some point. So here we go. Here. Please, internet, just give me 30 minutes with my YouTube channel as if it's listening to me. Okay, so then this 1, 2, 3 wave coming up right there, and then 1, 2, 3 waves coming down, and also I showed the subwaves of the subwaves, which have a name. I believe they are called mini waves. There are different names for each time you zoom in, because there are waves inside the waves, inside the waves, inside the waves to infinity. I'm not making this up. It's very fascinating and mathematical. And then over here, we had, let me get rid of this. We don't need that. And do we need this? Okay, so right here we have 1, 2, 3 waves. 1, 2, 3 waves, which I will admit that I was tricked by this one. Thought that was it, and then when it popped up again and made another new high, this was the ideal sell signal, and I was asleep. It was very frustrating. I'm laughing now, but I was cursing at it a couple days ago. So, that being said, there's a lot of predictive power in this way of doing analysis. That doesn't mean it's 100% foolproof. So then we came down here and made another wave, so you can see 1, 2, 3. And then this wave coming straight down from 32 to 21. Since RobinHood doesn't have stop losses, a lot of people probably got wiped out right there, because I would have had the stop loss set to underneath the previous wave, and when it came down and it made a new low under that, and a new low under that, and a new low under that, that would have been 3 potential stop losses if you would have exited on that way down, because this coming up to a new wave was 1 potential. And even though I said even though I was bearish for this whole thing, then everyone was bullish up here. So I started looking for a potential alternative count, because I didn't like only having a bearish count. I like to have a possible bullish count in case the bearish count goes wrong, so that I can still jump in and profit. Which oftentimes, even if I was wrong on the short term, I've been able to turn it around a profit, because I understand how these waves overlap. And there's some people that are wondering how I'm doing this, is that there's a lot of information given by these waves, and it's all human psychology. I saw a video earlier today, just in preparation for this video, that said the real reason. I did another video kind of making fun of this, but not just making fun of it, but giving you information that could actually help you. Because a lot of these clickbait thumbnails are absolutely nonsense, and I see these, the real reason Doge went down, and to humor myself, I watched one of them. I know that they don't know the reason that it went down, but they're going to say they know the reason it went down. You want to hear the real reason it went down? I'll tell you right now. Drum roll. The real reason that DOGECOIN went down. Do you know what it is? If you're watching and you can guess, and if you've seen my other videos and you know what I'm going to say, you might not know if you're new and just tuning in. But there's a very, very, very simple reason that it went down. You ready for it? I'll tell you right now. Let me know if you're watching in the comments and if everything's coming through correctly. Let me see your comment, and then I'll tell you why, the real reason it went down. And it's so simple that you're gonna, I'm not joking, but you might think it's a joke, but it isn't. So the real reason, I think there's a bit of a lag between when I'm talking and when you're actually hearing me. So at the risk of waiting too long, I'll just tell you. But if you're watching in the replay, Eddie said IMF World Bank. That's a really good guess. That's what I was not expecting anyone to guess that, but that's interesting. I could definitely go into a long tangent about that. That's a really good guess, though, actually. But that's not what I was going to say. I was going to say the real reason Doge went down is that people sold it. That's the reason. Eddie said anything to do with the resistance on El Salvador. Okay, that's what I thought people were gonna say, because that's what one of the videos I saw said. Well, here's the thing. You don't need to know the reason it went down. The reason doesn't matter. The reason is people sold it. That's all that matters to me. And you can see the evidence of it right here on the chart. This is the evidence of why it went down. People sold. When you see a red candle, it means they sold. When you see a green candle, and I changed the color of mine, but when you see the green candle, it means they bought. That's all you need to know. And any clickbait nonsense videos are just entertainment. And I'm sorry to burst your bubble. I have nothing against those people. They're doing a great job making great videos that are, good thumbnails, good titles. People are clicking. That's for sure. So I'm not criticizing the clickbaiters, but I'm telling you, just for your own sake. And no one is saying this that I can see, other than me, is that's hype. That's hype, and you don't need it, because it's just going to make people it's going to make people emotional, it's going to make people lose control, and it's going to make people make stupid decisions. It's already a stupid decision for a lot of people to trade to begin with. What? Yes, you heard me correctly. Trade at your own risk. It's risky. What's the underlying value? Oh, I don't want to go into this rant. What's the underlying value, though, of Doge? Nothing. There's no underlying value. It's just speculation. And there's nothing against it. I mean, I'm trading it. So I'm not saying not to. Well, for some people, shouldn't trade it. For other people, they're fooling themselves. They shouldn't trade it either. If in my mind, I understand it's speculation, I understand it's dangerous, and I understand that there's no intrinsic value of Doge. So that is a huge risk for people that won't admit those things and that are just blindly thinking. And what I mean by no intrinsic value is that what are you going to do with it? Whether it goes up or down. What are you doing with it then? You eating it? You rolling around on it? You rubbing it all over yourself? No, you can't do that. You can even do that with a fiat US dollar, which is fake. So even the dollar is more real. That's going to really upset a lot of crypto lovers. That's not why I'm saying it. I'm not saying it to be contrarian or to make people mad. I'm saying it because they need a wake-up call into what they're up to. And it's okay to trade if you know what you're doing, if you know it's risky, and if you know there's no intrinsic value and you still are willing to do it, then I go for it. So right now, there's no law preventing it. So, and it's not really hurting anyone, however, that I know of. So I don't think it's hurting anyone other than the people that sold at the wrong time, and the people that bought at the wrong time, and the people that the people that thought they were investing rather than speculating, and the people that used too much of their cash that they needed for rent or something. That could be painful for some people. So I don't recommend, getting in too far over your head. What I do recommend is learning how to do your own analysis, and so that you don't have to rely on the FOMO and the hype. I'm not relying on FOMO and hype. In fact, I laugh at it whenever I see it, and I think, do people really believe this? And I smack my head. I'm just giving you, I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm just trying to give you a window into another perspective. Also, speaking of being condescending, there was a hater on my channel a couple weeks ago telling me that it was going to bounce up to the moon, to 32 and then the moon. Well, what happened? Huh? What happened to them? Looks like it didn't happen. So the people that are watching and really excited to tell me I'm wrong and then end up being wrong, it's funny. So really, I don't trust anyone's analysis. I do my own analysis, And you know, when I was a beginner, of course, I had to learn it first. So, you know, you got to start somewhere. Don't feel bad that you don't know everything. I still keep if you know anything about Buddhism, there's a Zen Buddhism, there's a principle called beginner's mind. It's when you're a beginner, you just soak everything in and you keep your eyes open, you keep your ears open, and you don't get cocky. It's the opposite of being cocky. So that's what I strive to do in my own life, is keep that beginner's mind and stay open to that I don't know everything. And a lot of people could really get a lot of value out of that little lesson I just taught there. Now, I don't know everything about Buddhism. I just know that a little bit. So, okay, so right now on the 30-minute, I see we're fighting to stay above that 200 EMA, that white line. We popped above it, and now it's going back down. So it's bearish as long as we're under that line, and it's depending on the time frame where that line is. And these are the time frames up here, if you don't know. Up here at the top of the screen. And I'm gradually going to the shorter time frame so I can see the details, because really what I want to do is analyze this sideways wave right here, because this is causing difficulty. And I've been saying this for months in my videos, but the corrective waves are difficult to trade because they overlap. Impulsive Elliott waves don't overlap. There are certain rules that they follow that never get broken. But corrective waves, and I've talked about this in plenty of my other videos if you want to check them out, the corrective waves overlap and can make different shapes. Impulsive waves usually are always pretty much the same shape. Corrective waves have a few different patterns possible. So they can be confusing. Let me go out a little bit one more time to the daily. And let me turn these off again. Turn the drawings off, because I just saw something. Okay. So another danger about trading in a correction is that you can have a double correction or a triple correction. If that sounds like just made up stuff, tune in and pay attention, because there can be one correction, another wave up, and then another correction again. And it can do it a third time, and it can just go on and on and on. So the people that are overly optimistic that it's going to moon right away whenever they want it to, they're fooling themselves and living in a fantasy world. And let me just show you this. They thought it was going to the moon. Here they thought it was going to the moon. Here they thought it was going to the moon. Here they thought it was going to the moon. So the bulls are pretty predictable. The perma bulls, they don't know about Elliott waves, and they don't understand that it's normal to have a big correction like this. In fact, this is not even a big correction. This is normal. This is normal. I was expecting it. In fact, I called the top right back there. I was a little early, but I called the top right there around 69 cents. This was a good short right there. I was following some signals I was getting on the RSI, plus I was counting the Elliott waves. So that was really easy for me to call that. Those are easy. The impulsive waves up are more easy, to me anyway. I'm just speaking for myself. And then, wham, we came down hard. 3 waves. If you look at that one wave right here, it was divided into 3 waves if you zoom in on the shorter time frames. So I was able to make a profitable trade right there because I knew it was going to bounce. Even though I knew it was a bear market, because this wave right here overlaps this price territory of this wave right here. And I was just telling this to my secret group about Ripple XRP, which I call ZERP as a joke. But I was telling them about ZERP and that I saw some waves coming up and I saw this wave, another wave coming down that looked similar to this. And here was a wave and here was a wave coming down. Well, this is overlapping this. So I know that this impulsive wave up is done. Because that could not happen in a correct Elliott wave structure. Couldn't happen. It's a law. So I knew that a huge correction was coming. That way I played this bounce, got out, came crashing back down. I played this bounce. This one was more tricky because this sideways wave. But then it ended up coming through and hitting my target. Then this took a lot longer than I wanted, but I was predicting this as well. And then I thought it would come back up to 32 originally, but I lowered my target, which obviously it did end up hitting 32, but I lowered my target to about 28 because of this wave right there. And sure enough, it came up and nailed the target. I exited right there and thought that it was going to come back down and do another wave down. Then we made a new high above this, what I thought was 1, 2, 3 waves. So once we made a new high right there, I was like, there's going to be another wave coming up. So I got in and we made, in my group, we had another successful trade up there. Because once it invalidated my previous count, I knew that there was a sneaky other third wave in there. And what happened here, the reason that faked me out, is because you can see 1, 2, 3 waves. And I thought it was done. But really, that was just the wave 1 of a 1, 2, 3 waves. So that is probably pretty tricky. It might go over the head of if you're a beginner, but I have a module about this in my course, which I didn't officially launch yet, but I will let a couple people into it if you reach out to me on Instagram, at the Daily Doji, for more info. It might not be for you. I'm not going to hard sell it to you. Either you want in it or you don't. But I'm explaining in the course exactly how I traded that whole thing. And then, so now what? Now we're almost up to date. So what's going on here? So let's go to a shorter time frame so we can see more these little interior waves. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 waves up. Or excuse me, 1, 2, 3 waves up. Because this 1, 2, 3 was the wave 1, this was the wave 2, and this 1, 2, 3 was the wave 3. Does that make sense? Is anyone following? So then, I think that was it. I think that was as high as we're going to get. But when I saw Ethereum make a new high above this, that was a trick there. Then what Ethereum did, Ethereum popped up and did another little wave, and Bitcoin did a little one too, and Doge did not. But this pattern was the pattern I was expecting was already in. So I've had a bearish count for months, and people have been asking me for the bullish count. So the alternative to my bearish count, which just to clarify is that the first part of the correction is done. This is another wave, and it failed, and then we're going into another correction. If I'm wrong, we'll go back above 0.353. If I'm wrong, it'll come back above 0.353, and then I will get back in personally. You don't have to do that. Trade at your own risk. You know, I'm trading these little dips and everything, and some of them are dangerous. I don't recommend all of it. I don't really recommend any of it, but if you're doing it anyway, I can help you navigate it the best I can. And even though I was early on a couple of these, I'm still about 90% accurate so far with Doge. But that doesn't mean, you know, just because I was right some of the time doesn't mean it's going to always be right. Just want to say that, you know, I'm not pretending to know everything. I'm just really fascinated by Elliott Waves, and I like doing it. So here's 1, 2, 3 coming down, 1, 2, 3 coming back up. Now, is this a 1, 2, 3 gonna come down hard? That's what I think, and I've been expecting it to come up to around 27. I don't know what my original target was a few days ago, but back when this giant dip happened, that would have been a great buy. I was asleep in the middle of the day because I had been up all night anticipating action. And it's just one of those things with crypto, it's going 24/7, so it's impossible to trade it all night. And I did like 2 or 3 nights in a row, and then I'm laughing, although I'm frustrated. But this giant wave came down, and I was asleep during all of it, and I was waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. So there's a lesson hidden in there somewhere. Definitely. Many lessons learned all the time. But then, once I saw that, even though I was upset, at those times when I feel like that, I know other people are feeling like that. So that's oftentimes a good time to buy. If I wouldn't have slept during it, I would have been a little freaked out, and then another voice in my head that knows what to do would have said, buy! Buy when you're freaking out. Now, because I saw these waves coming down. Now let's go in a little bit closer. So now and then we've had here for several days since the 7th, we've been going sideways, up and down, up and down, up and down. This is one of the reasons it's difficult to trade during the correction, is because this is a, what's the word for that? This is a counter trend correction, which means it's a correction going up. The trend is bearish coming down. See how we're under that white line? That's one of the ways to tell. The other way is that everything is 3 waves overlapping, and it's never 3 waves if it's an impulse going up. If it's a bull market, it's never 3 waves. So I know when I see the 3-wave patterns overlapping that it's still a bear market. I've been saying that in my videos for a couple months. So we've got this 1, 2. I was expecting 1, 2, and 3. This to pop up to like, let's see. Now we can turn my drawings back on. Okay, so it still very well could go up to 28 cents first, because this line right here, you see this colorful tool? This line right here is the 0.5. It's a Fibonacci line, and it's 50% of the wave. So here's what I can see right here. 1, 2. Either this is the third wave down, or we're halfway up the third wave down. And the reason I say that we might be just halfway is because this skinny wave just going vertical right there, it's hard to count the subwaves, but it does look like 1, 2, 3 correction, and then another 1, 2, 3. Yep, 1, 2, 3 in this giant wick. 1, 2, see that overlap, and 3. So it looks like that wave was done. So we might correct back up to 28 cents first. That could be what's happening now. And also earlier I saw a buy signal around 24 cents, but I was skeptical, so I told my group about it, and I announced it earlier that there's a short-term buy signal for me, and the MACD was also looking like it was going to cross, and yeah, it definitely did. So that was a good buy signal in hindsight. And at the top of this wave, I'm going to be selling, because I missed the opportunity that I wanted. Around 32 cents was my hunch, and I slept during it, and it came up and just touched it, and then wham, wham, back down. So halfway up this wave, it's usual for it to retrace. And it was getting pretty far below the 200 EMA, which is another sign that it could come up, because it doesn't want to get too far from that line before it tries to come up and touch it again. So we might get back over it, but the 200 EMA is lingering right now, right at the top of these 1, 2, 3, 4. It tried getting above there 4 times. So it would have a hard time getting above 26.2 cents. So right now could be, since I'm decently bearish, I'm personally wanting to exit on this wave. So when I saw this come down and I missed it, I'm waiting for the retracement to get out, because I know how these waves work, and they're fairly predictable, even though they can be screwy sometimes and mess with you. In hindsight, you can always go back and read the interior waves. So this is where we're at right now. Let's look at the 1-minute chart. Ooh, that looks like a sell signal on the 1 minute to me. Now it could keep going up and keep making a sell signal even more. When it starts to make one, it's not like all or nothing. It's a pattern I'm looking for, and I explained this in my old videos, and I have a module on it in my course specifically as well. So I'm selling just a tiny little bit on my other screen, but I don't go all in or all out at once. I'm just taking little nibbles at the moment out, just to be transparent. But I'm seeing what looks to be sell signal. Now, what this could be, now that I take a longer look at it, this could be halfway up this wave, and it could be an ABC correction going sideways, like this. Does anyone know what this is called? I talked about this in some of my recent videos. It's an ABC, but what else is it called? What's it called when the B wave comes up above the beginning of the wave here? Does anyone remember from my other videos? That's a possibility, but also it could keep making a wave up and keep making a sell signal. Let's see, let's look at the 3-minute. Ooh, that's not looking good. But sometimes the MACD can be a fake out. So the MACD looks like it's losing momentum. Those bars are coming down, 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 down. And then this blue line and red line are about to cross. If the blue line, if it crosses under, that's the MACD crossing under. If you hear anyone say MACD crossing, then that's a signal that it's losing momentum and it could come back down the other way. So now if this is the top of this little wave, then I should be exiting way more than I am. I'm trying to get a good count on this sideways action right here. And let's see. So I see the 3 waves up first. 1, 2, 3. But then I see 3 waves down. So that makes me think, I was going to say this to my group earlier. Let me show you. Could be an A, B, C, D, E, like this. B, 1, 2, 3. It's not the best. And in fact, this A wave could have been here. So if this wave comes up to around 26.3 and then reverses, which kind of looks like what might happen, because if this little wave poking up right here, if this was the halfway, like I was just saying, it might not be exactly ABC sideways like that, and then the other half of the wave goes up. To about the same height. Then it would be right there. It would be finishing right about, yeah, at the top of these 1, 2, 3, when it came up and tried to hit that. So this is what we might expect in the very short term. If it's done with that dip right there, or if it has one more wave down and then another little wave up, would be nice. I'm a little bit biased because I'm looking for an exit. So I want to be transparent about that too. I try to be as non-biased as I can, and I believe I do a pretty good job, especially I don't compare myself to other people, but if I did, I see a lot of biased, hyped videos out there, and trying to do the opposite of that and give technical analysis, which is not based on hype. It's based on human psychology, buy or sell. So, yeah, this sideways action is just somehow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming up now, overlapping the whole way. These are the parts that drag on and squish the paper hands, I guess is what you call them. It would be strange if that was the top, because it was so close to this, which was the top. It's not impossible, but this could go 1, 2, 3, and then make another little wave back up. So to be really safe, this would be a good exit, but if you feel like hanging on to another wave down and then up, for me it looks reasonable that this next wave up around 26 would happen. However, the MACD is looking bad and the RSI is looking bad. So there's a chance that that was the top of this little wave. However, if it does go down and come back up, it would continue making the sell signal. And the sell signal would be better as a better pattern. Right now, it's a little bit early. That's not the, I mean, I'm usually looking for more than just this for the signal. All right, well, that's it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any other symbols you want me to do the analysis for. I will do stocks or indexes or gold or anything. Anything that I can find the chart, I will do the analysis. And if I don't do it live, I'll do it in the next day's video. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. If you want to reach out about the other things I've talked about in the video, my group or my course, reach out to me on Instagram at the Daily Doji. I don't really post on Instagram that much, but it's a convenient place to send me a message. All right, as I just gaze at the chart for any final thoughts. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Eddie, for commenting a bunch. I appreciate you. I appreciate the comments. If you're watching this in the replay, make sure to hit the bell icon after you subscribe. That way they'll notify you when I go live. Because I do go live multiple times a week. I was going live 5 days a week, and I'm adjusting the schedule. This is a new channel. It's a spin-off of my main channel. I was doing this for months on my, and I did this a few years ago actually on my old channel, but it wasn't really popular back then, so I kind of was doing other stuff. But then I started back up when the market and crypto started going nuts again. People started getting into it, and this time it looks like a lot more popular. This time people are interested. Because I was posting technical analysis 5 years ago, and just to my personal profile, and on my old Instagram that I never use, but it just wasn't as popular then, and just didn't seem to hit the same chord as it does now. Okay, I see this wave. 1, 2, 3. This most current wave. Three waves up, 1, 2, 3 waves down, and then this might be 1, 2, 3 waves up. And it's going to be tricky because I'm going to be trying to exit on this, and the higher it goes, so just as a general rule, as a general guideline, I ladder in and out, which means I don't just sell it all and buy it all at the same time. The MACD does not look good on the 5-minute either. However, by itself, the MACD is not that good, not that useful. But if it's confirming something like that, which is a small sell signal, but it is a sell signal that I look for. Although I know that it could definitely come up and make that same pattern with a couple more humps on it. All right, thanks everyone for watching. Thank you for the feedback, Eddie. And thank you for the positive feedback, everyone. Keep the negative feedback to yourself. Although most people are very positive, but the other day someone said, "You're wrong," and posted, I took a screenshot of it, and then they said I was a woman for taking screenshots. It's like, okay, even if I am a woman, I'm better at technical analysis than you, so go away. But anyway, I banned them from the channel, but so we don't have to worry about it anymore. It's not a big deal, except it's funny now that they're even more wrong, more and more wrong. Yet they signed in my channel, on my live feed, making fun of me for being wrong, and they're wrong. It's funny in a smack your head kind of way. That like people are so judgmental and so biased and so opinionated, and I don't think those things are good, because they're often wrong, and then but who cares? All that matters is, did you lose money or did you make money? So even if I end up being temporarily off, I still almost every time turn it back around to my favor and end up making money. Here's one example. Some people that sold right here, and where I'm waiting for it to, it could come back all the way up to this line right here. So I'm waiting for it to come in between the 0.5 and the 0.786. So this would be, and I know that's a big zone. That's a big sell zone. But that would be my ideal sell inside that little circle. And the reason, again, for those of you that maybe missed it, is that I drew this retracement tool because I see a 1, 2, 3 waves down. And in the chance that I'm wrong, and this is halfway up, a 3rd wave down, which it's a little bit too big, but it's possible. I'm basing this off of past mistakes of reading 3-wave overlaps, because this looks like one wave down, or if you read the subwaves, it looks like 3 waves down. And I usually, gauging by the height of the wave, looks like it could be done, definitely. Because here's its predecessor wave right here, and it was way longer than that. So this 1, 2, 3, this wave could be the wave 2, just like this wave right there. And if we look back to that wave, because I traded that wave, I remember it. It was a tricky one because it had 1, 2, 3 waves. And before you could see any of that, let's put that all off the screen because that didn't happen yet. So when I saw this like that, and this 1, 2, 3 waves, it looks like it could have possibly been done because the 3 waves were in. But then as we saw it play out, that was wave 1 with 3 interior waves. This was wave 2, and then this was the 3rd wave up right there. So that was a better exit, but this first one right here was the safer exit. Does that make sense at all to anyone? So what we could be in right now is just like this wave right here, halfway through the 3 waves down. This could be 1, 2, and then a 3rd wave coming down next. And then it would bounce again. So that's the really interesting thing. And I signed off a minute ago, but it looks like I'm lengthening the video. So what could happen then, if this is wave 1, this is wave 2, and we get a 3rd wave down, it could come down to, it could come down to like 16 again. If this wave was wave 1, and there's another wave coming down, look at that. Look at that. Perfectly hits 16. Almost perfect. Which is the resistance from there, and it would probably be resistance from here. So what's going to happen? Well, that looks kind of better of a pattern. That would be 1, 2, 3. Rather than this being 3, which it could be, this would be a little bit of a better shape that's more satisfying to my subconscious mind that can understand this stuff better than my conscious mind can. It's a lot of pattern recognition. And since I've been watching 3 waves, 3 waves, 3 waves over and over and over again, it's pretty predictable. And that doesn't mean that there's no risk. Again, I keep saying that just to make sure. But if this wave comes down, it's going to bounce. Where's it going to bounce to? Well, let's hypothetically say it does come down around 16. And this is a 1, 2, 3 wave. Well, what happens after that? Well, it's going to bounce. So it's going to bounce probably up to the 0.5 Fibonacci line, or even the 0.618. It could possibly come up to the 0.786, but if it's really bearish, then the 0.382 and the 0.5 are better targets to be conservative. Because we are in a bear market, as much as people don't want to understand it, the Elliott Waves don't lie. So if something like that did play out, I would be looking for a bounce. And look, it would be right up to around where we're at now. So there's a lot of retracements here. You don't, if you think you got trapped, it's gonna retrace and it might be more favorable and make a better exit. Is this making sense? So then if this comes down and then I would be looking for a bounce. If it comes back down to 16, I would be looking for a similar pattern. In fact, this pattern on the 4-hour might continue. If it comes down to another wave, it would look something like more like that. Whereas in that next, and that brush tool is not the best, but let me move this over to more like where it would be. So if it came down in another dip, ignore that little tail at the beginning. If this comes down again really hard, but the RSI is trending up, that is probably going to be, I'm going to probably look for trade right there. However, it wouldn't be a long-term trade. I would probably be exiting on the bounce. When I see 3 waves up, then I would be exiting. Even if it's only up to around here, because I'm a little conservative sometimes, even though it's plenty risky trading crypto. So I'm not that conservative because I wouldn't be doing this if I was. I would be doing the analysis, but I wouldn't be trading Doge or things with nothing backing them up. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Am I signing off for the 3rd time? Thank you everyone for watching. I'm going to keep my eye out, for this another big dip that would look similar to that. And hopefully we get another little bump up again. But if we don't, it's not the end of the world because I know we're going to eventually retrace. So I will just sell little bits and, I'm ebbing and flowing in and out as the waves go. So, well, I really feel like I dumped a lot of information out in this video. Let me know what you think, if you understood any of it. And if you want more detailed in my course, reach out to me. And I'll be back live, so make sure to hit the bell icon so that you get notified when I go live. I usually go live around 6 p.m. or 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, but I'm trying to work out a good schedule for it these days. So right now I'm just going to do them as whenever I feel, because I want to pump them out and get them done. Like if something important happens, or if I have 30 minutes free to make a video, then I'm going to just try to pump them out, because I have been getting pretty busy and I have a little bit less time than I had when I first started doing the analysis, because I have a lot of projects in the works. Also, I have a lot of big things planning. I'm looking into starting a hedge fund. Once I do, I don't have one yet. You're not allowed to advertise them. So if I do that, I might have to take these videos down in the future, but I'll definitely announce something first, and you can reach out to me still to find out. You can get a hold of me in my group. So right now is a good time, I think, to jump in on some of the good stuff I have going on, because I might not be doing this forever because of the different regulations and stuff like that. I might be, in the future, I might get an official license to be an advisor. Right now, I'm definitely not. But I am looking into it, and I am looking into doing some other business deals. So that's why I'm doing a little bit less videos, but I'm still going to try to do 3 a week So keep an eye out. They should be around the same timing. I might update the time. Let me know too if there's a better time, like what time you think I should go live. I had a poll one time where I asked everyone what time I should go live, but I've got more subscribers now, so I might post a poll again and find out the best time for everyone and see if that's a good time for me. And then, so I'm going to try to do 3 a week just to keep everyone updated, but I'm updating nonstop pretty much every day in the secret group. Even if I don't make videos, I'm still active in there because that's private and there's only a small handful, and also they are, yeah, reach out to me if you want in on that. But see you in the next video. Have an amazing day on purpose. And if this doesn't go down here, this is just an example. I will change my count if something changes so that I can jump right back in and open for a good opportunity. If you miss an opportunity, it's okay. There'll be plenty more. If you missed that giant dip, it's okay. There'll be plenty more. If you missed the best opportunity to sell, there'll be a lot. Just learn as much as you can because you can keep that even if you don't have any cash. Information is worth a lot, is very valuable. Hype is worth nothing though. So don't mistake just watching any video that you're actually getting an education, because yeah, only good information is worth money. Bad information will cost you money. I'm sure you've probably already found out the hard way. That being said, have an amazing day on purpose, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.